Hi guys, and welcome back to Wednesday Night Zombie Fever on 2BACR 100.9 FM. So we ran out of things to talk about, and we've still got 15 minutes, well 10 minutes.
So we're going to talk about some of the latest news headlines.
Are we?
Do you want to do that?
Well, we can,
Okay.
Well,
if you like.
maybe we should update everyone on our Comic-Con journey.
We could, it's not going very far, but we could.
Okay, well basically we want to know what everybody on Facebook and what everybody listening wants to hear from us. So we're going to be covering a lot of anime, manga, gaming, everything to do with pop culture.
Movies,
TV shows.
Everything.
Particularly because, we're pretty nerdy. So I think we just need to embrace the nerd.
I wouldn't say extremely.
Well, okay, not extremely.
Well, I'd probably say I'm probably the nerdiest one here.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, what's your basis for being the nerdiest?
I read a lot of manga, which is comics. I watch a lot of anime. I work at a game store. Play a lot of games.
See, I think there are different areas. Like, I listen to a podcast called The Nerdist.
Okay.
For a start. I watch a lot of TV shows, not on actual TV, on DVD. I watch a lot of films. I know way too much information about films, which I haven't seen.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. A lot of music nerd stuff.
Are we going for geeky or nerdy? Because I think of nerdy as being... I kind of take that Millhouse quote. Where it's like, he says...
Of course you take a Millhouse quote.
He says, I'm not a nerd. Nerds are smart.
Yeah, so more geeky.
I'd say geeky. And I think if we're having a geek off, I'm going to throw in my love of Doctor Who.
How about your love of The Simpsons?
That's true, actually.
I also share
but
that.
if we're having a Simpsons off...
Yeah, Rachel's
I think we'd be... yeah?
Yeah, because you watch the new episodes that I haven't seen.
You also tend to bring it up first.
Yeah. But
I do.
I don't know. I don't tend to see people who like movie people as really as geeks. I don't know why.
I guess it depends on the movies. Like if they're really into like Star Trek, Star Wars, and those sorts of like sci-fi. Yeah. Anything that's sci-fi or really like genre, then I think that's nerdy. But if you really like kind of popular and mainstream and commercial films and TV shows, then that's less geeky and nerdy.
I think it's still a bit nerdy. I don't
but
like
I feel
the term
but
geek.
somebody being into like keeping up with the Kardashians would not be nerdy.
No, that's completely Kardashians is I'm sorry, that was insulting.
What do you classify as a geeky or nerdy TV show?
I think just having like a real passion for TV shows.
Yeah, but so somebody who watches Keeping Up with the Kardashians could be.
Except for reality TV shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Because that is brainless mush.
But a lot of TV shows you could say are brainless too.
I mean, TV shows, like, if you're obsessed, say, with watching, let's say, not something that's been around for a while. Let's say Sons of Anarchy. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
But say you're obsessed with that. That's still kind of nerdy.
Kind of, I suppose.
But I usually think of, like, being geeky as being non-mainstream.
Well, that's hipster, isn't it? I liked this like before it was cool. That's
sort of like, like the new sort of...
But aren't hipsters more like the nerds of today? Like the geeks of today?
Yeah.
It's kind of become more cool.
To be geeky?
Yeah.
Sexy, smart is the new sexy.
Yeah, but not even smart. Like, hipsters aren't necessarily smart people.
They just dress like they're old.
And they got those glasses that make them look like massive nerds.
Yeah, I usually think of like, so if we want any info on the etymology of the word geek, the word comes from the English dialect, geek meaning fool or freak, from Low German Geck, so from like Middle or Low German. The root Geck still survives in Dutch and Afrikaans, meaning crazy, as well as some German dialects. So it's sort of all about kind of...
being crazy about something.
Yeah, being kind of obsessed with something, but also being sort of outcasted in a way.
Okay.
That is why the Kardashians...
But not like mainstream, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, do we classify Batman as mainstream now? Because if you like Batman, you tend to be a bit geeky.
See, I think today, all those Batman, Spider-Man, all that, it's kind of entered into the mainstream with these epic movies. I think something like, if you're obsessed with Doctor Who, is still a bit not so mainstream.
Doctor Who, a lot of people, surprisingly, are massive Doctor Who fans. I know quite a few people who love Doctor Who.
Yeah,
and not just Rachel in the room.
Yeah. There are huge underground... I'd still say, though, that it's underground. Like, it's not...
But I guess, like, everybody's heard of Doctor Who. It's not like coming up with, like, a TV show and you're going, I have no idea what you're
But, it's not like people will say, oh, you like Doctor Who, that's so geeky.
But before today, because we were watching Doctor Who, it was on the TV, if someone had said to me...
It was the episode with the ood for anyone listening.
If someone had said to me, you look like an ood... Well, I'd be kind of insulted now, but
oh my god, yes.
But before it would be nothing.
Yeah, before it would have meant nothing, and I would have just gone happily along, not knowing that I look like a nude.
You should say that about anything, really, because a lot of people haven't seen the Game of Thrones. There's a lot of people who haven't seen Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I, for one, have never seen it.
No, but you have heard of it.
But I guess it's got to be something about the genre, something about the substance of it that makes something geeky, or that makes something nerdy.
I don't know.
Right?
Maybe
because I think, like, with some things you can, like, say, okay, yeah, that's, you know, being into that would be geeky or be nerdy, or it's that niche sort of underground or
is it just the level of, like, you know...
But I think that, like, something can still be, like... Because comic books are usually, like... thought of as nerdy.
The domain of the nerds.
Yes. But then do, like, adaptations and things? Does that still count as being...
I think...
Because I think popular culture in general, and, like, really being into popular culture and...
Because I think Batman is not seen as, like, nerdy anymore. But I think if you read a Batman comic, which a lot of people don't do...
Yeah.
It's still a bit... that, you know, kind of thing. So a lot of people will watch the Batman films. I've watched Batman films. I've read one issue of a Batman comic because my friend's like, read it on your lunch break. So I did. It was quite good.
Okay.
But I do like comics. I like manga mainly. And people are like, oh, how can you read it? It's in black and white. I used to read so much manga that I dreamt in black and white. And it was weird.
But not the weirdest dream you ever had.
Because if you ever read manga, the actions and stuff are pretty, like, comic book, you know.
Yeah.
That kind of pow, wham, but in Japanese. So, it is quite an interesting dream to have.
I like when they say the character is sitting there smiling and it's got a smirk.
Yeah. Or there's like a little star, it's like bling.
Yeah.
Manga is awesome. Everybody should read it. It shouldn't be nerdy. But it's, what's funny? I used to read manga on the train. And you read manga backwards. So, in Western society, it looked like you start from the back of the book.
Yeah.
And I'd be sitting there on this packed train, and people would be looking at me and be flicking my book backwards. And then I just burst out laughing. So I must have looked like this really crazy weirdo that's reading a book backwards and just laughing at nothing. It was awesome.
One perception I don't like about manga, because it can be pretty violent.
Yeah.
And I remember I had Full Metal Alchemist.
Love that. It's so good.
That's the only manga that I've read. It is awesome. I was in the elevator leaving work, and I had it in my hand, and this lady that I worked with was like, she was looking at me like, what are you reading? And I was like, oh, it's manga. And she was like, oh. And she was just looking at it like, that should be in the hands of a 5-year-old.
Yeah. That's the whole thing about anime too, because it didn't take off in Western society because they thought it was for kids. Because cartoons are for kids.
Yes.
Right? You didn't really have cartoons for adults before that. And people are like, oh, it's for kids. And they buy these anime like Akira, which is really bad, and show it to their children, and then it'd be like, oh my god, I should not have shown this to my child. You're like, what is this? Why are Japanese people so violent and wrong? But yeah, it's and then people are like, no, you can't watch anime, it's bad.
Yeah.
So, and then you got stuff like Astro Boy, which is really kind of what broke it into the Western market. But yeah. Love anime.
Well, we can be back to talk about anime some more next week.
And
Let us
anime
know.
video games are the best thing ever.
Let us know what you think is. What do you think defines a nerd? What do you think defines a geek? What do you think is the difference between a geek and a nerd?
Yeah. What do nerds do?
Yeah.
And are you a geek or a nerd?
Do you consider yourself?
You're probably one or the other.
If you're listening to us, you're
Yes.
definitely one or the other, if not both.
Yeah, we're so hipster.
We're the hipsters hipster.
Where's my old
Yep.
people clothes?
That was our...
We know the
that was-
hipsters.
We're so underground, even the underground people don't know about us.
I used to call
We're
my
the mole
friend king of
people
the hipsters.
underneath the underground.
Actually, I just thought of another name that we could be. I'm just going to leave it though.
All right.
I will be back to wrap up after Modest Mouse on 2BACR 100.9 FM.